to a gentleman spoke extemporaneously. Senators are not allowed to do that anymore for good reason. And so I have a script, and the staff prepares this. I have some input. Then I usually wander off script, and sort of known for that. And then I write something down here that I want to, put in. Stand back there, gets the final copy here, and puts parens. Don't go here. So stay with me. This isn't going to be that long. Some of it will be very repetitive that our other speakers have said. But like Henry VIII said to one of his wives, I won't keep you long. That's pathetic if you didn't laugh at that. My God. That's the standard laugh thing, is some of the people that were here now falling asleep. It's great to be with you. I am especially pleased to be back with my good friend, Ambassador Baucus, who I knew as a chairman, as a member of the Ag Committee as well. Max and I have had the opportunity to work together many times over the years in the Senate. As he indicated, both the Agriculture Committee and the Finance Committee. Sometimes he rode shotgun and sometimes I did. And together we have gotten through many challenging issues. As the chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee, my primary task is to work on behalf of farmers, ranchers, growers, other rural stakeholders in Kansas and across the rest of our country. It's sort of a self-declared champion kind of thing. In preparation for writing the next Farm Bill, I've been talking with many of these stakeholders all over the country. We've been to Montana, and we've been to Michigan, obviously Kansas, down to Alabama. Yes, Alabama. And all over the country. And one thing is clear, times are extremely challenging today. Right now in farm country, we are in a rough patch. We had some good years, last three have not been so good. And with the supply-demand situation, I'm afraid that this will continue at least over the short term. I hope it's not long term. We're going to do everything that we can to provide farmers and ranchers with the certainty that they deserve and they need to be successful with regards to their production. But just as importantly, I have heard from folks around the country that they need reliable markets, both domestically and abroad, to sell not just the things that we make, again, not just the things that we make, but also the commodities that we grow. I've also been spending a lot of time over the past year talking about trade, in particular, obviously agriculture trade, and I have been encouraging everyone, farmers, ranchers, manufacturers, senators, as well as officials in the administration, and then there are the officials in the administration, and there are the officials in the administration, to help fight the pervasive view that our economy has not benefited from trade agreements like NAFTA. I especially want to thank Ambassador Baucus, as well as my other friend and colleague, Senator Dick Lugar, for their efforts on that front. They are helping to convey the benefits of agriculture trade at the grassroots level, and I look forward to working with them on all of that effort. There is a great deal of frustration in farm country because we are missing opportunities to grow our exports. I believe that the negotiation of NAFTA could provide just that opportunity. Strengthening and modernizing NAFTA should result in even stronger economic growth for the United States and for Canada and also for Mexico. However, like many, I have been concerned about the impact that some NAFTA proposals could have on the food and agriculture value chain. I joined Senator Bozeman from Arkansas and 16 other senators in requesting that before committing to any changes in NAFTA, or for that matter, any other free trade agreements, there should be an economic analysis illustrating the impact on the full supply chain of industries involved. And that should be determined and shared publicly. Trade is more than a product crossing a border. A seed planted in the field might ultimately become a meal for a family, but in between, you'll find the combine that harvests it, the facility that processes it, and perhaps most importantly, the people employed at every step of the way. U.S. agriculture has grown because of agreements like NAFTA, and from the farmer in the field to the grocer in the store, American workers have benefited from that growth. Canada and Mexico have been continuously ranked in the top destinations for U.S. exports since NAFTA was signed into law, and we must hard to continue to cultivate and grow that mutually beneficial relationship. You ask any Kansas farmer, what country represents the largest market for hard red winter wheat from Kansas, and he'll tell you it's Mexico, or at least it used to be. I also believe that we should be aggressively seeking new agreements and trading opportunities around the world. Max just mentioned, this is me now. Max just mentioned the TPP. Goodness gracious, if in an area of the world where we see utter chaos, and show me a country that can't feed itself and I'll show you real chaos, and we see that today. If we plant the flag of trade, we are planting the flag of freedom, a reliable market, hopefully, to benefit that country and the United States. So terribly important. I know in talking with the President, I've talked with him 4 times, and once for an hour, and it was about crop insurance, but then also trade. And he gets it, and what he'd like to do is to make sure that each and every trade agreement can be improved. What I was trying to point out that for every trade agreement that we have been involved in, it's always oversold and it's always overcriticized. But there's a sweet spot that you can get there from here. And I think the decision to cancel TPP was most unfortunate. If the U.S. isn't leading the charge and setting the rules, the EU or others will be. I was pleased, and Max mentioned this, that one of the early achievements during the Trump administration was an agreement with China to allow U.S. beef access for the first time since 2003. Max knows Steve Daines. He's a great senator from his state, and he's something else with regard to trying to move meat products into China, smuggled in, well, maybe not smuggled, brought into the country a locker full of Montana steaks, and was able to see the very top people with regards to people that he should have been talking to about trade. And they enjoyed that meal. And now we're shipping it, Montana steaks, Nebraska steaks, we got to get to Kansas and other states as well. And so that was a rather bold step. I'm not giving him the entire credit, but Steve Daines certainly has been doing a good job. And this administration continues to signal a commitment to pursue aggressive trade enforcement at the WTO on China's administration of its tariff quotas and market price programs for wheat, corn, and rice. As Max said, with a population of nearly 1.4 billion people, China is a critical market for U.S. agriculture and presents a tremendous opportunity. Now, as I said, I've had many conversations with the President, Ambassador Lighthizer, Secretary Ross, about the role of agriculture in trade. And we now have Ted McKinney on board, and our Secretary, Sonny Perdue, the man who certainly tells it how it is, and is a champion for production agriculture. Both are down at the Department of Agriculture, and Ted is serving as the first Undersecretary for Trade and Foreign Agricultural Affairs. Max, we tried for years to get that done, finding the 2014 Farm Bill, but nobody was appointed, so now we have somebody on board, and that's a good thing. Greg Dowd's nomination moved into bipartisan matters through the Senate Finance Committee. He is now waiting for the full Senate to consider his confirmation for our chief agriculture negotiator, and we need him on board. Farmers and ranchers have been waiting for far too long for a chief agriculture negotiator. We need to get him confirmed and in place down at the USDR to help Mr. Lighthouser, who I know very well from his 15 years with Bob Dole, and to provide a critical voice for our producers. Last week, I stated that we are at a crossroads on trade. If the United States is to continue both as a leader in global markets and to grow the American economy, then we must aggressively work to strengthen the existing relationship and develop new ones. No one knows that more than the agriculture sector. The rewards that come from our trading partners, I believe that agriculture should be front and center as the U.S. pursues trading opportunities all around the world. Now, the thing that I would mention, and Max said this is not a time to sit back and listen. You're doing a good job of that now, thank you. And simply to nod your head up and down and then go about your business. This is a call to action. This is a time to saddle up and ride. American agriculture needs your help. As the Marines say, it's time to take the hill and plant the flag. I urge you to do that. Max, thank you for getting Dick Lugar on board. They're going to be calling for individuals, farmers, ranchers, growers. They know how to do this. We've been successful on several key issues where we really had quite a campaign. One was on labeling of food, one was of country of origin. I probably shouldn't mention that because that's controversial, but at any rate, we've had a pretty good posse, Max. And so I'll either ride point or ride drag, whatever you want me to do, but I need you to ride in the posse. Thank you very much.